Since 1996, there have been 30 Big 12 champions slash co-champions. Oklahoma and Texas claim 18 of those 30 titles. 60% of the Big 12 champions have gone to either Oklahoma or Texas. But now both of those teams are gone, off to the SEC. And the Big 12 has added even more members to form a 16-team conference. A 16-team conference that is wide open in 2024. So welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, guys. We're so glad you could join us today to break down the wild Big 12. It is going to be a fun race to see who plays for a Big 12 championship and who can win it. As always, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and check out everything down in the description below. That includes our website, thegridironexpert.com. We've got tons of exclusive content over there to help you get through this offseason, especially with prediction season right around the corner. We are going to have every single team's schedule predicted game by game right here on our channel, the only channel in the country to do that. Make sure to go check it out. Make sure to be here for it. Subscribe, hit that notification button, become a member of our GE Nation. We get ready to break down what's going to be a phenomenal 2024 college football season. So we take a look at the Big 12, guys. 16 teams. You know, last year Oklahoma, Texas were still a part of it. They added newcomers like UCF and Cincinnati, BYU, Houston. Now we have even more newcomers. The Pac-12 completely disbanded with the exception of Oregon State and Washington State. You know, God rest their souls. We've got Utah, we've got Colorado, we've got Arizona, we've got Arizona State, along with the other Big 12 members that we had in the league last year. This is going to be a really fun race to see who can win the conference. And, you know, we decided what better way to break this down than with a tier list. Let's break it down into tiers. Guys that are, you know, from the top contenders to the least contenders. Let's pull it up. The tier list here, as you can see, broken down into 4 categories. The elite contenders, the serious contenders right below them, the dark horse contenders, and contenders that have absolutely no shot, at least in our eyes. And we'll start at the bottom, work our way down. Let's start with the elite contenders. I think, you know, and these are in no order. They're not listed in any order. We're not saying Oklahoma State is necessarily the conference favorite, but we wouldn't blame you if you had the Cowboys as your Big 12 preseason champion. They were the Big 12 runner-up last year, going 10-4, losing to Texas in the championship game, but they were told loads of talent. Alan Bowman is back. Ollie Gordon is back. An offense is going to be one of the best in the conference. The defense was atrocious last year, but surely to God it's going to be better this year. They've got a relatively favorable schedule to go on top of that, and one of the best coaches in the conference in Mike Gundy. Oklahoma State is a dangerous team this year. They weren't supposed to be as good as they were last season. They were a bit ahead of schedule. Now with all this returning talent coming back and all of this momentum, the Cowboys do find themselves as one of the conference favorites. Utah, of course, in their first year in the conference is an elite contender. They, like Oklahoma State, are loaded with talent. Cam Rising is back after missing all of last year with an injury. So is Brant Kuithe, and so is an always solid defense. Kyle Whittingham always has one of the best defenses, not just in his conference, but in the country. We do not expect that to be any different this year. Utah, guys, has won at least 8 games every year since 2018, not including that COVID year where everything just kind of went to crap for all the teams across the country. 8 games each season since 2018. They're going to be an immediate contender in the Big 12, have one of the best home field advantages in the country. Utah absolutely has a great shot to win the conference in their first year there. Same can be said for Arizona. They joined the Big 12 from the Pac-12. Noah Fafita, Tetaroa McMillan. This offense has one of the opportunities to be one of the best in the entire country as well. The only caveat to Arizona is the fact they lose Jed Fish to Washington and have to bring in Brent Brennan, the former coach at San Jose State. This is a young Arizona team go. And that's the beauty of this. A young Arizona team that went 10-3 last year, retained a good amount of their roster. Despite the coaching change, retained a good amount of their roster, and a team that went 10-3 and finished the year with 7 straight wins, including a win in their bowl game over Oklahoma. Quite the send-off for the Sooners. So Arizona, they've got a great opportunity. If they can continue to play the way they did at the end of last year, they could find themselves in Big 12 title contention by season's end. And the same, of course, can be said for Kansas State, a team that won the Big 12 back in 2022, went 9-4 last year, has continued to thrive under Chris Kleiman. They've got a dangerous dual-threat quarterback in Avery Johnson coming back this year. This is a Kansas State team that, despite losing some key members of their staff, despite losing some key personnel, I think has kind of been overshadowed a little bit. You never doubt Chris Kleiman. You never doubt the power of Manhattan. Give me the Wildcats as an elite contender in the Big 12 this year. And they're right above a couple of guys that we do view as serious contenders. These are guys that we don't necessarily view as Big 12 favorites. I think the favorites would be the 4 we just mentioned, but guys that I would not be shocked to see in the title hunt, would not even be shocked to see in the title game in Kansas, Iowa State, and West Virginia. And we'll start with Kansas. Let's go out of order here a little bit. Look, the Jayhawks have loads of talent. The question is, can they stay healthy? Jalen Daniels should be back fully healthy after missing the majority of last year at quarterback. Devin Neal's one of the better running backs in the entire country. The defense has steadily gotten better under Lance Leipold. They went 9-4 last year, one of the best seasons in not recent memory, almost 20 years for Kansas football, since like 2007. What a year for Lance Leipold. He's building something special. The bad thing is, Kansas does not have a true home game this year. They're going under stadium renovations, going to have a beautiful facility there, but they're going to have to play in Kansas City a lot of games at Arrowhead. So it's going to be an interesting season for Kansas. No true home game. Could play a bit of a role for this team, but the talent is there to find themselves in the Big 12 championship come season's end. Same can be said for Iowa State. Iowa State was in Big 12 title contention late into November last year. Still had a chance to make the Big 12 championship. They needed some things to go their way. They didn't, but the Cyclones were good. And they, like Arizona, were a very young team last year, and I think really exceeded expectations. Had one of the best defenses, not just in the Big 12, but in the country. The offense is steadily going to get better. They returned tons of production. This team went 7-6 last year, but had 3 one-possession losses. Very well could have been a 9-10 win season for Iowa State last year, and we probably would have had them in the elite category had they been able to pull off some of those games. Still very young, still have a few question marks, but they are there. The talent is there. Matt Campbell's one of the best coaches and most underrated coaches in this conference. Iowa State, do not be surprised if they are in title contention in late November, just like they were last year. And the same can be said for West Virginia. They returned tons of talent after a 9-4 season in 2023, a season that was good enough to retain Neil Brown, but they do have a very tough schedule. Very tough schedule coming up. A defense that needs to improve after allowing over 28 points 6 times last year. If they can do that, I'm not worried about the Mountaineers' offense. West Virginia could make some noise in the Big 12 and maybe find themselves in the Big 12 championship game by season's end. This is 3 serious contenders, guys, that are just on the outside looking in, but are serious enough that they don't need to be overlooked by any means. The dark horses, the dark horse category, that's where I think teams are going to be overlooked. Teams that have a lot of talent, that could find themselves contending for a Big 12 title, but people definitely aren't talking about them as much right now. UCF is one of those teams. Gus Malzahn's a brilliant offensive mind. He lands KJ Jefferson at quarterback from Arkansas, but their defense last year was their downfall. They went 6-7 with 3 one-possession losses, so like Iowa State, easily could have been a 8-9 win team, much better than their record showed, but their defense allowed 6.1 yards per play in conference play. That's unacceptable. You can't allow over 6 yards per play in this mighty of a conference. So if UCF can shore up the defense, I'm not worried about the offense. They were very close to pulling off a few upsets last year. If they can get on the right side of those upsets this year, they'll find themselves in title contention. Texas Tech, they were a dark horse last year. Everybody had high expectations for the Red Raiders, and they fell flat on their face, going 7-6. Some people had them winning 9-10 games. Playoff dark horse, maybe. Joe McGuire's squad didn't pull it off. But Baron Morton is back at quarterback. Tosh Brooks is back at running back. The defense, once again, like UCF, like West Virginia, is the key for the Red Raiders. The offense is not going to be an issue. If they can fix that, they could maybe reach the expectations that were set before them last year. Maybe just delayed gratification for Red Raider fans. How about Baylor? Look at Baylor. 3-9 last year. Very disappointing season. They're on a downward spiral under Dave Aranda. 2021, they win the conference. 2022, bit of a step back. 2023, rock bottom. Why do we have them as a dark horse and a team that doesn't have a shot? Well, no one saw Baylor winning the Big 12 back in 2021. No one saw it coming. Dave Aranda is a good coach, and he has completely overhauled his staff. He adds a veteran quarterback in DeQuan Finn, transferring in from Toledo, a brilliant pickup that no one's talking about. This is a Baylor team that I think is going to be much better than people realize. Big 12 title contenders? Maybe, maybe not. But once again, no one saw them coming in 2021, and they shocked the country. Maybe they could do it again in 2024. TCU, how about the national runner-up from 2 years ago? They followed that national title appearance with a 5-7 season. Andy Avalos now coming in as the new defensive coordinator. They have a lot of faith in their new quarterback in Josh Hoover. Sonny Dykes, they did the unthinkable in 2022. made the Big 12 championship, still made the college football playoff, made the national championship. They were a dark horse. No one saw it coming. Because they do it again this year. My gut says no, but I'm not ruling it out. Kind of like Baylor, this is a TCU team that really failed to meet expectations, but had a major overhaul both on the staff and the roster to the point they should be playing 10 times better football in 2024. BYU, our final dark horse here, 5-7 last year. They ended the season with 5 straight losses. They were held to 24 points or less 6 times last year. So unlike some of these other teams where the defense was the issue, BYU's issue was their offense. They never could get anything going offensively. They've got to find themselves better on that side of the ball, more consistent, more explosive to hang with some of the offenses like Oklahoma State, Arizona, Kansas, and guys that we mentioned. So BYU, a dark horse, if they can right the ship offensively, odds are very slim. They were the kind of bracketology terms last team in, very close to being a team that we put as no shot at making and or winning the Big 12 championship. Those final teams there, guys, the guys into the no-shot category, these are teams that are going through pretty big rebuilds right now. Arizona State in year 2 under Kenny Dillingham went 3-9 last year. They might be better. They're going to improve, but I think they're going to go from 3-9 to conference champs. It's just not happening. A lot of questions still left to be answered for the Sun Devils. Same can be said for Cincinnati. Year 2 under a more proven coach in Scott Satterfield, but went 3-9 last year. Major questions on both sides of the ball. Will they be better? Sure, we expect them to be, but to think they're going to go from 3-9 to Big 12 title contenders, it's just not happening. Colorado, they went 4-8 last year. They're going to get a lot of media hype. Everybody's going to talk about them. Don't know why. They were atrocious last year. The defense was god-awful. They couldn't stop anybody. They were severely undersized. They were severely undermanned. Could Colorado make a bowl game this year? Maybe so. Shadur Sanders is a good quarterback. Travis Hunter is an unbelievable athlete. But those are only 2 players on this team. They cannot single-handedly lead Colorado to a Big 12 championship or even single-handedly lead them to the postseason. Colorado has the talent to reach the 6-win mark. They do not have the talent, nor the coaching, I should say, to reach the Big 12 championship. And then finally, Houston. This is a waiting game for the Cougars. Year 2 in the Big 12, new coach, though, in Willie Fritz. We've said it time and time again, Willie Fritz is a program builder. He is not an immediate fixer. The Cougars went 4-8 last year. They have to be patient. Fritz is going to get in there and instill his philosophy, get his guys in there. Houston could flirt with bowl eligibility. Fritz will have them in Big 12 title contention very, very soon, but it's not going to be in 2024. So there you go, guys. All 16 Big 12 teams broken down into this tier list. We'll probably do more of these for other conferences, for other players, for other coaches. We don't know. To stay tuned. All the more reason to subscribe and hit the notification bell. But these are the tiers of the Big 12 contenders. 4 elite contenders, 3 serious contenders. The bulk of the Big 12 finds themselves in the dark horse category. One of those teams is going to surprise us this year and find themselves in title contention late November. Leave your comments below. Tell us who you think that will be. 4 teams that we believe don't have a shot. Do you think we're crazy? Are we underselling these teams? Leave your thoughts below. We'll know soon enough, but this is what we believe heading in to this season. So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and of course, check out everything down in the description below. That includes our website, thegridironexpert.com. That includes all of our mailing addresses to send us your team's gear, more Big 12 gear. One we've got is Kansas up here. We need a little bit more. We'd love to get them represented in every single Gridiron Expert video as we welcome you to our GE Nation. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.